Thank you everyone for joining this session today on leveraging Google Maps platform to boost your business. We are conducting this in collaboration with Google, where we will be essentially talk about location intelligence pertaining to multiple industry verticals and how we can help you drive business growth and also implement some of these use cases for your business. So with further ado, let's get this started. So I'll quickly start by introducing you to the speaker of the session today. So first of all, I would like you to introduce you to Vincent Casamajao from Google, who is the partner sales manager for Google Maps platform. And myself, my name is Pranav, and I manage the Google Maps practice effort at Sears for the EMEA region overall.
Hello, everyone. So Vincent speaking. Very pleased to be with you and to spend the next hour all together.
Thank you, Vincent. Uh, just a quick rundown on what we have on the agenda for the session today. So Vincent will kick things off by giving a quick background on location intelligence, what some of the industry leaders are doing around location data to drive business growth, followed by a quick overview on Google Maps platform as well. Moving on, I will also walk you through some of the industry top use cases around maps. We will also look at some of the products that CEO's team has developed in-house on top of Google Maps APIs for your location strategy. We will also look at some of the customer testimonials, followed by a quick background on Sears as a Google Maps premier partner, and then we will open the forum for question and answer. So I'll definitely encourage all of you guys who have joined to feel free to post question on the chat section at any point of time. We will try and best to address those questions during the course of the presentation. And yes, we will also record the session and we'll be sharing with you separately over the email after the session is done. So with that said, I'll hand it over to Vincent. And yeah, Vincent, you can take it forward.
All right. So thanks everyone for attending the webinar. So very pleased to deep dive and better help you in understanding how maps can really help your business, and we will go through a lot of different use cases, and you can see how versatile that technology can be and how beneficial it could be for your company. But I wanted to have maybe a broad introduction, not only focused on Google Maps, but trying to understand exactly why we are here today all together talking about innovation, talking about technology, just to try to get to the essence of the reason why we are all here today. And maybe to try to find that reason, I wanted to show you, of course, that painting that is known by everyone, Mona Lisa from Leonardo da Vinci. And I'm not showing you that painting because I'm based in Paris, and that painting is in the Louvre Museum. But I'm showing you that painting because, in fact, it's the best illustration of a very specific moment in human history that is called the Renaissance. And what made that period very special in the humankind history is that it has been for over, let's say, 250 years, a unique moment in the humanity, in the way that things have totally changed. They have totally changed the way people were trading, the way people were creating, the way people were thinking. And that result, that masterpiece, in fact, it's all started through a technological breakthrough. And that technological breakthrough was the printing press. So my point is, in fact, often during our history, what will bring a unique moment of innovation, of wealth creation, of a new way to think, most of the time they are fueled and propelled by technological innovation. So printing press triggers the Renaissance, which bring to a unique 250-year moment in history where everything changed. And I'm bringing this up because some people, and I'm deeply convinced about that, think, in fact, we are going through a second renaissance. So we are going through a special moment, not only in our life, but maybe in the life of humanity, where through technology again, things will change totally. And that's why I show you that picture. And I will ask you, I will ask to the audience a question. Do you recognize the person, the statue we're showing you on that slide? Do you know that person? If maybe someone find the name of that person, we can send you a goodie. Does anyone in the audience know the name of that person? So just give you a few seconds maybe to answer in the chat. So make a guess. Maybe nobody has any idea on who's that person is. In fact, so, okay, I will give you the answer. So that person is Leibniz. It was a scientist. I think it was a scientist in the 17th century, and that person is considered as the first data scientist. So the first person that built theories around the way to embed information through a sequence of 0 and 1. And some people think, in fact, that second renaissance that is totally changing our world, that is brought by digitalizations, has been brought by people like Leibniz, people understanding the power of digitalization and bringing this to the world. So we are going through an unprecedented time, not only in our life, not only because we are going through a pandemic. I know it's also something special for everyone, but if we look long term, there is something special happening in our world. That special thing could be named as a second renaissance. And we see the impact on this every day in, of course, our life as a citizen, but of course, life as a consumer, life as an entrepreneur, and life as a decision maker. And this is where I think it's super important for you to know how you can leverage those technologies, how you can make the best out of those technologies to make the world better, to make your business better, to make your life better. And this is exactly our intention with Sears on a daily basis, to support companies in that endeavor. And we do that leveraging several technologies from Google. Today will be the focus on maps. And that's why in the next slide, I think the next slide is a good way to understand what is different this time if we compare what's happening now to the first Renaissance. If we go maybe back to the last slide, thank you, Pranav, because what is important to understand, so it's the pace of innovation. I was mentioning back in the first Renaissance, it took 150 years for innovation to spread through the world. Now, let's have a look at what was maps 15 years ago only. It was this screen. It was only North America and 2 islands in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, Great Britain and Ireland. So that was Google Maps 16 years ago. So everyone in that audience that use, I assume, Google Maps, you can really, really understand how fast innovation has been in the past 16 years when you use on a daily basis Google Maps. So that's my message to you. Innovation is now the big thing and is going at a speed that is just insane. And this is what we see. As I was mentioning, it took something like 300 years for paper maps to spread through the world. Now it only took 16 years for maps to become the standard in terms of geo experience. And you can imagine that that process will speed up with more and more connected devices, with machine learning, with technologies that are blending together. So the potential is massive. And our role is really to help you to be on top of that, not only from a technical point of view, because that's also maybe my second message. There are different ways to look at technology. You can look at it in a very from a very technical angle, which is essential, which is super important. But my last message is also try to have a look at this in a creative way. So get maybe rid of the technological complexity and try to let your creativity go freely. And to be honest, this is thanks to that attitude that I have seen the best way and greatest way to build businesses on Google Maps. Because one day you have some entrepreneurs that try to reinvent something, and they say, okay, what if I use Google Maps in that way, in that shape? They don't even ask themselves if it's doable from a technical point of view. They just ask themselves, I would love to do that. And that's my message to you. Please, maybe at the end of the presentation, so we're going to go through a lot of different use cases, but please take 10 minutes in an ideal world without any technological friction. Let's imagine how Google Maps can transform your business. And we can start with you from there. Okay, you have the idea, and our role with you will be to make it happen from a functional but also technological point of view. So be a bit like Leonardo da Vinci. I show you the painting from, of course, that genius. Be a bit like him. So try to create something that is unique, and we are here to help you for that. And why Google Maps platform can help you in that journey. So next slide, Pranav, thank you. So basically, in fact, when we talk about Google Maps, we talk about three main buckets of APIs, and those APIs have different features and give you different benefits. So the first bucket, it's called Maps. In fact, it's a way for you to build the best mapping experience to your customers. So you can leverage, of course, Street View. You can leverage dynamic maps. So it's the best way to deliver a maps experience to your stakeholders, most of the time, of course, customers. Routes, it's the best technology for you to deliver things, to move things, to be able to control all your fleet, to be able to optimize the way you run your assets. So we have the technology that give you the most precise insight in terms of going to any places. And to maybe be complete, we have Places, the third bucket. Places, it's a wonderful technology, a wonderful database to give you an understanding of your surrounding. We give you a complete understanding on what is important around you. We call it POI, so point of interest, and we have a unique database, really rich, that help anyone, wherever you are, to understand what is valuable around you. So with those three buckets of APIs, you can deliver the best geo experience. And that's what we do with Sears on a daily basis, trying to transform your creativity into something super concrete, super useful for your customers, for your employees, for your company. And if we go to the next slide, I think it's needless to say that of course, everyone and a lot of business recognize that Google deliver the best location intelligence experience, and it's maybe the best technology for you to build your location strategy. And why is it the best strategic technology? If we go to the next slide, it's first and foremost the quality of data. And of course, a mapping experience can only be great if data is fresh, is in real time. And this is where we leverage the scale of Google, the scale of the number of users. We have simultaneously around 1 billion people using daily Google Maps. And those people, they enrich continuously our database with, and that's the latest number, 50 millions daily updates. So you have the certainty when you use Google Maps to access to fresh data and real-time data. And that's really our promise: deliver the most reliable and best reflection of what the world is. So next slide, please. So rich data, when we say rich data, it's not only real-time data, it's that the granularity of that data is super interesting, because we try to make the data richer and richer. And you can have different angles. For instance, when you go somewhere, we will give you different way to understand how interesting is that place. And we can give you information around scheduling, around the best moment to get there, about sharing experience from previous people that enjoy the place. So the way the data is presented to you is not only in real time, it's not only trying to make it as fresh as possible, it's also to make it as rich as possible. And when it's come to your business, to reflect as comprehensively the value you can deliver to your customer. So next slide, please. So also, and that's a question I asked to the audience at the start. So I'm sure you guys use, and I hope, maps on a daily basis. And the best proof, for us is that people consider maps not only, of course, like as a utility, but they love the product. So there is something special in the relationship. So it's not only a great product, but people are really tied to the product. They love it because it's connected to so many great experience they went through. So Maps is really a product that go beyond its own utility. It's able to connect people through, I would say, a special relationship. People love the product, and we work very hard with Sears to make sure on a daily basis we keep our promise to you. So next slide, please, Pranav. So an important point, I mentioned real time and mentioned the richness of data. I mentioned the special relationship people have with the technology. I think it's always, all of this is also connected to the fact that wherever you go in the world, you are almost certain. Of course, we need to improve in certain parts of the world, but we offer people the possibility to, wherever they are, they will, through maps, be able to reach their goals in terms of location. So we have a unique global coverage. We have a very comprehensive view and understanding on what is happening in the world. And that is super important for individuals, of course, when they travel, but it's even most important for companies operating worldwide. So this is what maps also give you: the most comprehensive coverage in the world. And we invest a lot in time and, of course, in money to make sure that coverage is always up to date and improved. So that's a constant quest we are going through, but really happy to do that. And next slide, please. And a very important point also for users, it's great to have very rich technology, very fresh data that is comprehensive worldwide, but you need to make sure it works every time, anytime. And this is also where relying on the Google infrastructure is for you the guarantee the performance will be there when you need to scale, when you need to deliver your service to the customers with a flawless execution. And so this is where also the infrastructure that Google has developed is quite unique. And we really put a great emphasis on making sure the service is working perfectly, whenever you need it, whenever you want it. So scalable performance is a quite important point. And we work with a lot of startups, of course, because that point is even more crucial for them. As they grow, they need, of course, the service to scale. And we are really happy to support a lot of those fast-growing startups. So next slide. And talking about our users. So as you can see in that slide, it's really a mix of startups and also big traditional companies that are trying to innovate and building also new ways to address the customer needs. So I would say there is no not only a category of companies that use maps. It's very versatile, and that's why we are really happy every time to meet entrepreneurs or meet decision makers that want to make their business better. Even if their business is mature, there are always ways to offer to your customers a greater location experience. And this is where, when you leverage all the richness of our API suite, you can do and you can deliver great things. And again, maybe my key message is technology could be complex, even though when you, of course, and I'm sure a lot of you have a strong technical background. Maps APIs are quite easy to install and develop, but in certain use cases, it does require a great expertise, and this is where SIS has a ton of experience on that. But yeah, try to be creative and take that moment. And who knows? In fact, you might be able to identify the next big thing. And we have seen this happening in, let's say, in the transportation industry with Uber. We have seen this also with Airbnb in the travel industry. There is a moment where those guys, they think about something that was not existing. They didn't even know if technically it was possible. They think about that simply and make it happen. And we are really happy to help companies to make it happen every day. So I don't know for growth for enterprise, I think this is exactly what the next use cases will be all about. So we will show you exactly how you can optimize your company operation and improve your customer experience and customer interaction. So very happy to go through this, and maybe I will hand this over to you, Prana, for the next slides and the next sequence, where we will deep dive more on the use cases.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vincent. Really appreciate you giving the insight and setting the tone for the rest of the session today. So yeah, just quickly, So in this section, we will cover some of the top industry use cases. So we have identified about 4 use cases that would be relevant for multiple industry, depending upon what kind of companies you are into. So we'll look that in detail as well. Uh, so let me move forward and talk to you guys about the first use case, which are going to look at, which is how to leverage Google Maps APIs to help customers easily provide and verify their addresses to improve the sign up and checkout process. Uh, Now, when searching online, it's very evident that customer wants an effective sign up and checkout process, right? So when searching online, customer wants the quickest way to find what they are looking for, and when they can't, as the statistics show, customer end up abandoning the website or the application. So the average cart abandonment rate is about 68%. On top of that, 21% abandon their carts if the checkout process is too long or overcomplicated. 21% abandon if they have to re-enter their shipping information as well. Now, today's customer are used to the autocomplete type ahead functionality, which can be integrated into any application using Places data or Places libraries on both mobile devices and on the web as well. So when a user types an address, autocomplete will fill in the rest of the address, making it much more simpler and user friendly for your customer. So like I said, right? So let's talk about how Places autocomplete adds value as well, right? So Places autocomplete's type ahead feature provide you with Places predictions, reduces the keystroke and the time it takes to fill up the particular address field. Now, this translates to a faster sign up and checkout process, ultimately resulting in better conversions. The second benefit is it will help business to reduce the overall operational cost from a fewer customer service call, let's say due to failed deliveries or incorrect delivery addresses. The third benefit would be on top of address validation and accuracy, business can also improve their CRM data quality. Again, to gain valuable insight into customer behavior and their location preference. So this is again an added benefit that you would see as well with Places autocomplete feature. Now let's look at the second use cases, which is basically to manage your various fleets or tracking of shipments. Companies in the logistics space, last mile delivery space, and even the ride sharing companies, this is a really important use cases. Uh, so let's look at the next slide. So like I said, right, GPS, more and more logistic companies are using asset tracking to drive their growth, right? And now GPS asset tracking is helping basically companies to accelerate productivity and reduce that overall operational cost for business of all sizes across a range of industries. And as you can see, according to reports, it states that 64% of companies who manages their fleets are leveraging Google Maps API. 98% of companies that say asset tracking has a beneficial impact on their fleet operations, and over 80% of them consider asset tracking as very beneficial. Let's look at some of the benefits on some of the key performance indicators as well. So these are some of the areas which are benefiting companies who are tracking their assets, right? So 50% of customers who are leveraging, who are tracking their assets is they have seen improvement in their customer services. 53% said they have improvement in their productivity. 49% of companies who are tracking their assets says their maintenance definitely improved. And again, the crux of the thing, right? 45% of these companies have said that their routing improved after they started leveraging Google Maps to track their assets. So we can definitely see there is a lot of scope when we talk about use cases around asset tracking, logistic and supply chain vertical. Uh, Also, Google Maps precise location time, real-time location data is a key component to fleet tracking, right? So as the Google Maps data is updated over 50 million times a day, you can now dynamically track and visualize where the moving assets are, where they have traveled, how often they have moved. So by adding location data to your connected assets, you can definitely develop a deeper understanding of your supply chain, optimize your operations and provide a better customer experience. Now let's look at some of the industry use cases example as well. So right in here, you can locate and track fleets. You know where your fleets are by locating and visualizing them real time on the Google Maps. You can also use plus code, which is one of the feature in Google Maps to locate, track, route vehicles in areas where you do not have an official address system in place, or let's say where the street does not exist. So with plus codes, end customer can indicate, their precise location to businesses and companies to receive goods and services, that were difficult to access before. Now this also is helping business to provide a better, to better serve across different regions, and also expand their operations to new regions where they couldn't serve because of the address is not being present, or the street which is not existing. So plus code definitely takes care of that. Here is another example of a local ride and delivery platform where you can show customers the progress of their orders in real time, their estimated time, delivery time. Display maps let customer easily select their location on them, and then show them where their orders are related to their location. So these are some of the pertinent use cases around asset tracking. Now let's look at the third use cases, which is basically enriching records using the location component. Now, this is very important and significant for companies, specifically in the fintech or the financial services industries, right? Helping customers or their users to recognize and understand their transactions better. So with Google Maps, like Vincent said earlier, right? With Google Maps, fresh, rich, and local global places data, you can provide customers with tons and tons of information, right? You can give them location name, you can give them addresses, ratings, reviews, etc. Now, here is an important example, or one of the most pertinent example for a financial services organization or a fintech company. Now, they are using location data. They are able to help their customer better understand and manage their spending by visualizing a particular transaction being made on the map itself, and then pinpointing the exact location and details of where that particular transaction was made with a single click and tap. So this definitely inspires confidence while making a particular transaction. Fraud detection will also be reduced. All the frauds that are happening with, you're not a particular user not able to identify, okay, where is that I made that particular transaction? All that can be sorted with this as well. Here is another example on the next slide, which basically help reduce customer service call. This is again related to the operational side of things, but yeah, it definitely help companies reduce that overall customer service call and the disputed transactions by enabling your customer to recognize the purchase through enriched transactions, like for an example, the name of the business, the street view images of that store where the transaction has made or where that purchase has made, and also the location of the transaction on the Google Map itself. So that definitely inspires confidence and reduces the chances of fraudulent activities as well. Coming to the next use case, which is the last use case. So with which is nothing but route, basically helping your workforce or also your end users to navigate from point A to point B. So with directions, distance matrix, and roads API, so all the APIs which are there in Google Maps APIs, now you can create efficient routes to lower your cost, to improve your customer experiences by using real-time predictive traffic models, right? Now you can also plan trips for up to 25 waypoints with up-to-date data on distance between points and estimated travel times. You can also choose faster routes to allocate or reallocate deliveries to your field agents depending upon real-time traffic conditions. Now let's look at one of the example from a ride-sharing, local ride-sharing and delivery platform, which will basically help optimize drivers' route. So now you can provide that optimal route to your driver in real time to create faster, more efficient deliveries, hence resulting in lower consumption of fuel, lesser number of vehicles being used, and overall reducing your employee cost as well. Second, provide turn-by-turn directions with real-time traffic for your delivery driver with directions. You can also leverage Street View to display images of the drop-off location to the drivers, so he or she knows exactly where to stop and what are the entrances look like even before they arrive, thus saving time at the drop-off. There is another example here. So let's look at a ride sharing, in fact, it's a ride hailing taxi application example. In this scenario, you can offer a map-based interface to help customers find nearby cars, scooters, bikes, remotely unlock them and plot the best directions, best route to their destination. You can also use directions to help customer determine the best possible route for their journey, understand the fare estimation, and use Google Maps API to also calculate journey times and help customer optimize their journeys as well. uh, so these are some of the top industry specific use cases that I had on mind. If you guys have any specific questions around any of these, feel free to put that on the chat section, and Vincent and I'll try and best to answer those during the course of the rest of the session. But yeah, if any questions arise in your mind later on, we definitely have a dedicated slot where we can answer any specific questions that you have. Uh, Moving on to the next section, where we will specifically look at a couple of products that Sears has developed in-house to complement your location strategy. So the first one that we want to talk about is Route Logic. So as the name suggests, it's built on a routing algorithm that will basically help you move all your offline channels of sales into an online platform that we have developed for managing your deliveries. So it's as simple as pasting a website URL and get started, right? So it's very simple to get started on this solution. It's a plug and play, readily available solution. So you can upload your offline orders online. You can just enter the number of delivery agents you have. You are also able to batch your orders. You are able to batch deliveries and get in return the best optimized route for making those deliveries done as well using Google Maps API. So like I said, it's a readily available plug and play solution with zero implementation and coding efforts. Again, if this interests you, in the effort of the time, we cannot show you the complete demonstration of the product, but yes, happy to schedule a complete demo of this product offline as well. So yeah, please again feel free to put that in the chat section if you are interested to learn more around these solutions. The second solution is Find My Store. Again, this is very critical for a lot of companies, or let's say banks, or even a retail store. So if you have not implemented this on your website or application, again, this is readily available plug and play solution. So as you can see on the screen, the product is helping customers define a specific radius around their specified location and listing up all the point of sales which are available nearby, and also providing them with directions, right? Again, this product will facilitate all this inside the website or application itself, right? So the particular customer coming onto your website or application does not necessarily have to move out of the application and search in the consumer version of Google Maps what are some of the stores available nearby, or get directions to that. Everything would be able to done inside the application itself to ensure that customers stick to your website, to your application, and yeah, thereby improving your overall traffic and also improve your overall bottom line. Uh, Adding to that, this can also add you can also add custom filters based on the choices and preferences that you want your end users that you want to give to the end users, and the same will be reflected on map interface. So example, let's say you are a bank, right? And let's say you want to give filters like whether we have parking facility available, does that bank offer insurance, does that bank offers, let's say, credit card loan. So all you can put that as a custom filters, and a particular user coming onto your platform, onto your website, can select those custom filters, and the same would be reflected on the map interface. Again, it's up to your discretion on the filters that you want to add. So again, this is really important. A lot of companies are doing this, and I'll definitely encourage, if you guys want to learn more about this, we are happy to do a deep dive demo on this product as well. Moving on to the next section, which is where we will talk about some of the customer testimonial and see how Google Maps platform have added value to their business. So the first one is Bounce. So they are a mobility solution provider. So they leverage Google Maps API to help their customers book rides. So it's basically done by letting them know where the nearest bikes are located and how they can navigate from their current location to that particular bike. And so yeah, it's basically help them, guide them to get to that particular nearest bike available, right? So it's led to a significant improvement in their conversion. So that's what it's one of the quote from their CTO itself. Next is Pneumatics. So they are a logistics solution providers, again, using maps to understand real-time traffic. They are leveraging maps as they are able to track all their customers' vehicle and helping them reduce the bottlenecks at their warehouses specifically. So again, the wait time, you can see the benefit is they have reduced the wait time by 20 to 40% here. The third one is SoCash. So they are a fintech platform which basically enables cash withdrawals from small cafes and shops through a mobile app. So they are again leveraging Google Maps places data to map the nearest cash distribution center. Thus reducing the SoCash team response time on processing hundreds of events, and also help them to further expand into newer geographies as well. The last bit is Ibibo Group again. So this is the leading online travel platform based out of India, and they are also using Google Maps, where we are able to help their customers to locate desired hotels, manage their bus and journey bookings more efficiently. Again, they have, in terms of benefits, they have seen their NPS Net Promoter Score gone up by 20 to 25%. So these are some of the top testimonials that we had for your reference today. But yeah, in case if you are interested to learn more about any of these, we can definitely send you a detailed documentation on these customers as well. Moving on to the next section, we will look at we will give you some insight into Sears as a Google Premier Partner. What all support and services can you expect from us, and how we can help you guys getting started with Google Maps API, and what kind of journey we had with Google so far as well, right? So just to set a quick insight into about what Sears does. So we are a cloud, so we have been in the IT consulting space for over 14 years now, and have been closely associated with Google for the past decade. As you can see, our specialty mainly lies in the cloud automation and analytics space. We are also one of the premier partner with Google, who have been serving for the past several years. And this partnership is global in nature, as we partner with Google for Google Cloud, Google Maps platform, and G Suite, and all these in multiple geographies. The next slide, where we'll talk about Sears services and value add. Again, this is very critical. So again, this is a quick summary of what you would get as a part of services and support from a partner like Sears. So this broader umbrella covers consulting services like usage optimizations, tech and business consulting workshops, and best practices to implement Google Maps APIs, continuous engagement with Google, and getting to know what's happening in the overall ecosystem of Maps and cloud. And again, there are additional opportunities for you also for joint marketing initiatives as well. From Sears' standpoint, one most important thing that I definitely like to highlight is we offer you an account manager once you are onboarded on our panel for Maps, and we ensure that we tick all the boxes for services and support levels, ensuring your continued success on Maps as well. This is a quick slide on, this slide will basically give you an idea about the journey that we had with Google so far. So as you can see, we started back in 2006 with G Suite Engineering Services, and then gradually moved over the years and started practice for Google Cloud and Google Maps. We are also one of the fastest to become the premier partner globally, with 50 plus customers onboarded in the first few months itself. And also in the year 2018, we were recognized as the location specialization partner. We also have few in-house products as well, one of them being Happier Work, which is an HR management platform, and Recognic, which basically helps organization to digitize, store, and index documents. So this sums up what we had put together for you guys today. Thank you everyone for joining in.